The other morning I looked at a picture of a young boy with a huge smile across his face. It was his sixth grade school picture. He looked so happy and content. Then I looked into his eyes. There was an emptiness there that I immediately recognized. I recognized it because the little boy in that picture was me. I knew the smile was there because the little fellow was so excited to see the great big world that was all around him. I also knew the emptiness in his eyes was there because he was afraid to tell the great big world who he really was. I asked the boy in the picture how he made it through. His eyes spoke to me and told me to look at the most recent picture that was taken of him and ask that guy. After I placed the young me back in the box of memories, I went and found the most recent picture of myself. The picture is of me standing by a pool in San Juan. I looked closely at myself and saw a resemblance of the little boy that I was looking at just moments before. The smile was the same, but the eyes were so much different. The empty darkness was gone and had been replaced with a brightness that I knew was the reflection of pride and joy. Somewhere along the way, the eyes caught up with the smile to welcome the world, and I asked the older guy how he made it through it. Before the older me could answer, I looked closely at his face. There are now a few wrinkles framing the smile and the eyes. There are a few scars that told me the road hadn't been easy, but he made it. My memory began to tell the story of how I made it. I realized at an early age that I was somehow different than the other kids. I looked the same on the outside, I wore the same clothes as they did, and I ate the same foods and went to the same classes as everyone else. But something was different inside of me. It didn't seem to me that it was anything to be afraid of because it was who I was. I didn't see any reason why I couldn't simply be me. As I grew older, my differences began to be a reason for others to ridicule and make fun of me. People who didn't understand me lashed out by calling me names and laughing at me. Before long, I had allowed the actions of others to infiltrate my thoughts and feelings, and before long there was a pain in my heart that was constantly there, and I didn't know how to get rid of it. But I did think that I had to suppress the pain and live the constant fear that the hatred and judgment of others would transform into physical violence. Throughout my youth, I hid behind a beautiful smile that God gave me, but fear taught me to wear. I didn't think there was anyone in the world that I could talk to, so I kept it all bottled up inside. Needless to say, that part of my life was fake, and it sucked. You're living that now. You know that, or you wouldn't be watching this video. What you need to know is that where you are now is only leading you to where you were designed to go. You were designed to be different from your peers. You were cut from a different cloth. God made you special because He needs you to show the rest of the world how to live and how not to give up. While everybody else is busy fitting in, you find yourself busy trying to explain why you don't fit in. Eventually, the angry and insecure people that have tried to beat you down will find their place as well. When I found myself in a college far away from what I had ever known as a child, I began to grow. I found my first love. I also found my inner warrior. When I found myself in a new world with brand new people, I decided right then and there that it was up to me to chart the course of the rest of my life. There was nothing I could do about who I was designed to be but to follow the voice that said, "Be you," and show the world that they can too. Eventually, I found myself surrounded by other people that were going through the same things that I was faced with. They were scared, but they were tired of being scared. We found strength in each other. It's imperative that you find someone to talk to. Tell your story to your mirror at first. Listen to your fears and doubts, and then tell them to kiss your ass. You weren't put here to be afraid. You were placed on this earth at this very moment to show the world that everyone is worthy of love, especially you. It isn't an easy road to hoe. Trust me, I'm still digging in the trenches. I went through exactly what you're going through right at this very moment. If I had a pair of Prada slip-ons for every time I thought about killing myself, the spring line would be all set for the next 45 years. But I didn't give in to those feelings. Instead, I decided to have pity on ignorance. If it came my way, I prayed for it. I learned to realize that the ignorance of others was far more important of a battle to fight than my own insecurities. Eventually, I found love and happiness. I even wrote a book about it. It's called Expect. I wanted you to know what to expect in your life as a scared, gay, and magnificent being. My greatest cheerleader throughout my writing experience was the person who, years ago, was the person I was most afraid of revealing my sexuality to. My own mother. She and I had our rough times, but over the years, she began to accept me for who I am and love me for who I helped her to be. After I finished my book, she and I were having a conversation on the phone about this very video that you're watching. After all that the two of us have been through, another blessing came to me that night as she began to cry and say to me, I had no idea when you were conceived 42 years ago that God knew what he was doing and created you to write a book that another lost soul could read so that he wouldn't have to endure what you did. That's where you're headed if you don't give up. Before you take the pills, think about the future. What if Elton John had given up? We wouldn't have those amazing songs to sing, dance, laugh, and cry to. What if Ellen had given up? What if Oprah had given up? She certainly had her struggles. What if Orville or Wilbur Wright had given up? Think about those things. You have no idea what the future holds for you, but I guarantee you it's worth it. Think about the people in the future that you are blessing right now by holding on. They need you, and I do too. When I decided to be true to myself, I found so many people to support me, so many friends that I couldn't afford to take them for $1 cheeseburgers without going broke. My life is full now. The darkness that filled the eyes of that little sixth grader has been replaced with a love that cannot be extinguished by ignorance or hate. It burns and burns and burns. You can have that, I promise. Take a lesson from that. Don't give up. Fight the fight. Ignore the ignorant. Look for love and look for someone that will help you. You just found me. That means your life is worth living. It's a story that I really want to hear. It's a story that can save not only your life, but the life of the kid that may be standing next to you right now. You are loved. It took me many years to be proud of being gay. It took me 43 years to be thankful to be gay. God created a special breed to love and create the world and ask it to be beautiful. He called us gay. I'm part of that calling, and so are you. Contact me if you need to talk. I didn't give up, and neither can you. Your second step is to be kind to yourself. Your third step will be to be kind to those who aren't kind to you. Trust me, it works. You're too important. You can make it. I know that because I made it.